Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video, I'm going to be taking a look in the Soulforge and giving you my opinion on what I think is good and bad in there, what's worth crafting and what's worth avoiding. I'll also be looking at the new weekly event troop. But anyway, what's orange and sounds like a parrot? A carrot. Oh, I'm sure they get worse. What was I doing? Oh yeah, the weekly event. Lavaworm. Let's take a look at this and give it my first impression score. 300 glory. Deals damage to the last enemy and creates 7 red gems. Alright, that's actually pretty good. This is basically the red equivalent of the rockworm. Rockworm does brown. It creates 7 brown gems and does a similar amount of damage to the last enemy. I think it's a little bit less than that. But yeah, still actually surprisingly good. It doesn't sound much, but when you get a team that generates a lot of red, with a lot of red on the board already, that can repeat cast and do a lot of damage. I remember calls for Rockworm to be nerfed when that was out. People were like really complaining about that thing, because you can get a couple of these in the team, and they really work well together as well. So actually a lot better than it sounds, this. Gain 1 magic for each red ally. Immunity to burning and fairy fire, and gain 1 life for each red ally that are the traits, and it's an elemental monster. So with the bonuses this week, you get 10% to the skills of elementals and 10% to the skills of monsters. This thing is going to get a 20% bonus to its stats, which is very good. So I like this. What shall I give it? I want to give it like 6.5 out of 10, because I don't think it's quite a 7, but it's definitely not a 6 either, but I don't like doing 0.5s. But it is nearer a 7 than a 6, so I'm going to give Lavaworm a very solid 7 out of 10. Right, now onto the Soulforge itself, and first of all we'll take a look at the weapons. I'll always take those weekly event troops up to Mythic level if you can, if you have enough glory. Definitely 100% worth doing. Right, first up in the Soulforge is Shegra's Spine. Let's take a look at this. Deals damage to an enemy boosted by giant allies, then create a mix of 6 blue and brown gems for each giant ally. So this uses red and green, creates blue and brown. So you need giant allies in your team that are basically going to use those mana colours to benefit more from that. So good if your team fulfills those requirements. Doomed Gavel. Deals 39 in my case, heavy splash damage to an enemy. This is like magic +5. And +4 per tempering level. Stun all yellow enemies. Cleanse all yellow allies. Explode 4 gems if the enemy has a doom. And explode 3 more. So there is a lot going on with these kind of weapons, and they are pretty situational, to be honest. You have to be against more yellow enemies to benefit from that, and you're going to want this mainly for the cleanse. That splash damage is not huge, but it does explode gems, so it does a bit of everything, this kind of weapon. You may find that fits well into one of your teams, but it's not spectacular. Wump. I'm assuming this is just going to just smash people around the face, basically. Deal damage to an enemy boosted by Broken Spire allies, then create a mix of 6 red and brown gems for each Broken Spire ally. This uses yellow and blue, and the same reason as the other weapon, this generates red and brown. So you need your other Broken Spire allies to use red and brown to benefit from that. But again, if your team fulfills those requirements, it can be very good indeed. Other weapons we have here, we have Flamifar. Pretty much essential, especially if you've got some of the higher level troops that use a lot of red. Creates 10 red gems. That is a lot of red. If you've got a red storm going on and a lot of red on the board already, this is going to repeat cast, charge up the rest of your troops. Really, really good. And deals damage to an enemy boosted by those red gems. So very, very good indeed. Borderline essential. Doomed Club. Deals damage to all enemies, so that's very good for a start. Damage to all is a really good way of hitting those stealthy troops like Arachnian Weaver and those heroes in Thief class, things like that. Then transforms green gems to Doom Skulls, and if the enemy has a Doom, create 5 more. Gain 3 mana for each brown enemy. See, if you had an all brown team you're fighting this against, and it is a brown weapon itself, then you're going to gain 12 mana back just by casting it. That's like, means it only needs 6 to do it all over again. So that's very, very good indeed, and that transforming green to Doomskulls can do a lot of damage. So another excellent weapon. Do like this one. Not quite as good as the one that's one to generate loads of skulls, but it's right up there. In fact, I don't know, I think I may even prefer this. I don't know, I'm going to have to go over these doomed weapons a bit more thoroughly and maybe do a video on that, which I prefer. And is that it? Yep, that is it for the weapons, but definitely some really good weapons there this week. The troops, let's go over the Mythics first. Consort of Darkness. Looks like he's just come back from some sort of weird sex convention, but he's not actually that bad. Some people said he was terrible when he first came out, but if you can boost that slay chance, it's actually not too bad at all. Kind of like a mini Zool in that way. If you can get that slay chance really high, it will kill someone outright and create 12 skulls in a very similar way that Zool Goth does. But he's good, if not spectacular, because you do have to work pretty much the whole team around him. I did do a video on how to get his slay chance boosted up to a really reliable level in a different video when he first came out, but you do need to work the rest of the team around him, if you know what I mean. But yeah. Archproxy Yvendra. Super powerful. I love her. She's absolutely amazing. Converts all yellow gems to Uber Doomskulls. If you're the type of player that likes a game or a Guild Wars match where you rely on skulls or like to do the most of your damage with skulls, then Archproxy Yvendra is absolutely superb. Converts all yellow gems to Uber Doomskulls, curse, web and poison the strongest enemy. But it's the damage from them Uber Doomskulls which is the main thing about Archproxy Yvendra. You may look at her and think, okay, 30 mana is a hell of a lot. And it is. But you can get a 40% start with her using Divine Ishbala and a 50% start in other ways with Elf. And she conjures an Uber Doomstorm when an enemy dies, reduces damage by spells by 25%, and is immune to Mana Drain, Silence, Fairy Fire, and Web. So unless she gets cursed, she basically gets her mana and keeps it, which is really cool. And furthermore, those Uber Doomskulls do terrific damage. Even if your top troop is entangled, Uber Doomskulls still do an absolute bunch of damage. Even if, like I say, if you're entangled, and that is a really good benefit from it as well. And as well as that, they generate a load of mana. Have her in the right place in the team, and she will get back a huge bunch of that 30 mana cost and be ready to do it again very, very quickly. Like her. A lot. The Scourge of Honor. Deals true damage to all enemies, which is good straight away, and gain 2 mana back for each cursed or diseased enemy. You can benefit from this by having that third trait. Curse and disease a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems means you will get more mana back as soon as it casts. And it can be like ready to go again really, really quickly if you have the maximum amount of enemies cursed and diseased. So pretty good in the kind of team that works well with it. Obviously a true damage team. Like it, just don't love it, if you know what I mean. Euryali. A lot of people class this as a kind of a central troop to go with Scorpius because she poisons all enemies on 4 or 5 gem matches, and that's when Scorpius will just kill enemies outright. But I did show a team how it works really well in the same kind of way without Euryali. Forget the troops it used, but it's in a previous video. If you type in Scorpius in the search, it will come up. But yeah, deals true damage to all enemies, boosted by Naga and undead allies, and summon a Bone Naga. So she's good if you really like to use Scorpius, makes her basically essential. But otherwise, you don't see her that much. I just realised I didn't go over the Scourge of Honor's traits. Not Scourge of Honor. Consort of Darkness. Steal 6 life from the first enemy when matching purple gems. Is basically a 12 life swing because you take it from them and give it to yourself. Reduce damage from spells by 50% is not bad. And summon a dark storm at the start of battle is purple. So the traits are, again, not too bad at all. Right, that is them, let's go over the Legendaries just ever so quickly, because I always say don't normally recommend crafting Legendaries. Much better off to save your hard-earned diamonds for those very difficult to get Mythics. I do have a gem dragon egg I can craft, but I'm holding on to it. I'm really close to being able to do another one. I've already crafted one of the gem dragons, but I've just heard too much about people getting duplicates on the second and third casts and things like this. So I'm just going to hold on and just wait and see if anything happens regarding getting duplicates on those kind of things. Right, Behemoth, just very quickly, deals damage to all enemies, destroys 12 gems. So can get a fair amount of mana back if you collect the right colours, and damage to all is pretty cool too. And gain 10 life on 4 or 5 gem matches is pretty handy if you get into a looping team that generates 4 matches constantly. Can be really, really good. And is immune to all status effects, Devour, Lycanthropy and Mana Burn. Autumnal Imp deals scatter damage and destroys 10 gems. So does a spread amount of damage, which can take away barriers and things like that. And if an enemy dies, gains 8 magic, as well as gets a little bit of mana for the team. But one of its main bonuses is it gains 8 magic on brown gem matches. Get in a brown looping team, and this thing can generate an absolute ton of extra power to do massive, massive damage once you get that going. And you can have 2 of these in a team at once, which effectively means you gain 16 magic on brown gem matches. Pretty cool. Forest Guardian. Essential if you like beast teams. All beast allies start with 50% mana and transforms purple gems to skulls, brown to green, and allied beasts gain a barrier. So pretty cool. Nutcracker 1225. Eliminates all armor from an enemy, so a good armor stripper straight away. And explodes all gems of one of the enemy's colours, then explode all stone blocks. So kind of situational. Exploding all stone blocks means it's there for a particular reason. And give 4 armor to all mechs when matching 4 or more gems is okay, but impervious is always handy. But who is my mythic of the week? Well, it's not going to be Euryali, very specific use. Scourge of Honor, again, quite specific use, or can be handy though. Consort of Darkness looks like it's come from some weirdo sex convention. Not that I'm knocking anybody that's into that. Each to their own, each to their own. I'm just staying out of it. So it has to be Archproxy Yvendra. Converting all those yellow to Uber Doom Skulls can work really, really well and do absolutely huge damage, and often result in a board wipe and just get a massive amount of mana back at the same time. Super devastating in the right team. Kind of a risk versus reward kind of troop, because it is a lot of mana to start with, but you can get a quick start with her with various other troops. So Archproxy Yvendra gets my Mythic of the Week. There it is. There's my Soulforge review of this week. I did start a new video series earlier, looking at the weekly preview, just showing what is ahead on Gems of War this week. Check that out if you've not seen it already. And later on today, I'll be doing my World Event team, so check that out too. It's a busy old Monday. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you liked what you saw, and I'll catch you again next time. Bye for now.